I'm Maddie.
I'm Amber.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot.
We are the weirdos in this one.
I get soft like a sailor snubble. Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble. Sam.
Wow.
Hey everybody, I'm Amber.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're Witches Talking Tarot. And today, we are going to have a fun little episode about the masculine aspects of the craft. And by masculine, we do not mean male or men. However, there's probably a higher proportion of men or people who identify as male that feel drawn to the masculine aspects. However, there are just as many women or people that identify other than male that can be drawn to the masculine aspect. And no matter what you identify as, the masculine is needed in your craft. And we're going to talk about that today.
Well, and I'm really glad that you pointed that out because I
Mhm.
think a lot of people nowadays with the
I
new
wanted
age
to start with
craft
that,
and things
yeah.
like that, they focus a lot, or not everybody, but some people do focus a lot on the feminine
Mhm.
and the goddess,
goddess
aspect.
aspect.
When
Yeah.
really we need to be focusing on balance. I mean,
Absolutely.
don't get me
That's
wrong.
why we're doing this episode. Because, like, you talk about the triple
Mhm.
goddess. There's a triple god aspect as
You
well.
just don't hear it
You
as
just
much.
right. You don't hear it as much, except maybe at Yule when we're
Mhm.
talking about the birth of the sun god, and so you go through the whole the multiple aspects of the god
Mhm.
as he moves through. Starting out
Maybe
and
Beltane.
finishing to sage.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe Beltane,
Mhm.
but it's maybe. We keep saying maybe.
Mhm.
And that's maybe it'll be addressed, even though it's a very big part of these celebrations, because it's a very big part of that which is happening in nature. And again, it's
Uh-huh.
not about a specific gender of human beings or animals.
Mhm.
It is about the specific wavelength of a specific kind of energy.
Well, I have to say, it does seem like the goddess eclipses the god sometimes when it comes to this modern, a new age.
With New Age paganism, yeah. I mean,
But
well,
I
and
do-
it
I have
depends
to
on your
say,
path, too.
let me
But
explain
it
the
also
joke.
depends on your mentality.
Like, I think you got the joke, but a lot of people associate the goddess, and the goddess is mostly associated with the moon and lunar power.
Mhm.
Whereas the sun god is the sun
Yes.
god. The sun has very masculine energy, and often the eclipse, like, okay,
Yeah.
LOL.
I got you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
the moon eclipsing the sun. That's actually fucking hilarious.
Thank you.
And I wish I'd laughed sooner. I was just like, but it kind of depends on where you're going, because I'm like me, and I'm sorry I ruined your joke. That was fucking great. No,
Fell
it was
flat.
fucking great. No, I'm like, it could get a little like image of eclipse as you said it, so the people at home will get the joke quicker than your blonde co-host.
So for me personally, and I feel like I have to share this. So
It's
for
fine.
me personally, I believe the two energies, okay? The universe, whatever this is, I don't want to get too into it, but let me just say there's an ultimate energy
Mhm.
source, light and dark, chaos and calm.
Chaos
Male,
and order.
chaos and order. You know what that makes
Yeah.
sense. Chaos and order.
I thought you said
Masculine.
con, like Comic Con,
No.
and it confused me. That's why I had to say order for anybody else that had that happen.
Masculine and feminine. Okay?
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
for me, it's very important to acknowledge both. Now,
Yes.
I will say lately, I've been working with the dragons, and I noticed dragons are more androgynous, masculine leaning, but then, yeah, I'd say they're more androgynous myself. But that's just me.
But I mean, androgyny in and of itself is balance.
It's the ultimate balance.
It is.
Exactly.
Like truly. And, I won't lie.
We're speaking energy-wise. We're not
Right.
talking gender.
Right. We're talking, again, like, hence the beginning of, that's why we wanted to start it the way we did, because, like, this is all about the energy, okay? This isn't about anything in the flesh. I mean, it can be about something that's in the flesh, but it's the energy of that thing. Just like, when you look through magical books, you will see herbs that are listed with different planets and masculine, feminine, air, earth, all the different associations for plants, stones, different kinds of oils, because the energy matters and balance in the craft matters. And so, as you stated, very often, just that feminine side is focused on. Sometimes the masculine side is completely put aside as something that is dark or imbalanced in and of itself, or bad or wrong because it's not feminine. And that's absolutely not the case, guys. Like, I am all about that equality and that balance. Like, a lot of it has to do with things that I was exposed to when I was being raised and what have you, but ultimately, the balance is very necessary. I've always leaned more, and this is about a human being, the way I'm talking about this, but I've always leaned more toward the masculine. Like, truly, my whole life, I leaned toward the masculine until I embraced my feminine side. I was imbalanced as a human being. Like, and that's not about anybody else. That is literally, based on things from my youth, I felt like one energy was better than the other, and it's truly not. And that's the point in what I was just saying, in case anybody mistook that to mean something else. The energy balance is truly important. Whether you are more masculine or more feminine, embracing those other aspects of yourself are truly important. But then you have to also take that outside of yourself. But I really think that to be able to address it in your craft, right? To be able to fully balance that which you use. Like, often we talk about in our episodes or in our conversations, not online, we talk about the need for, a balance. And we talk about, like, we have the episode, I'm an earth bitch, right? And so we talk about being drawn to earth, being drawn to water. These are the feminine aspects of the elements. Air and fire are the masculine aspects. But as we talked about in one episode, all of those are necessary to, like, I think fire requires everything but water to exist. Air can exist on its own. Earth can exist on its own. Water needs these other things to exist. Like,
we need to exist with the balance.
We need to exist with the balance. Like, these elements have the masculine aspect because of the way they function, not because they're bad versus the feminine aspect. I think that's really important for people to acknowledge, because so often in the craft, or so often in New Age paganism, you hear people talk about the craft is a space for women. It's not. It's a space for people.
I think the problem is that for so long, women who were identified as witches were just completely it was awful. You know what I mean? So I think that instead of finding that balance, people are wanting to find that, like,
the elevating one above the other. When
we went through all this, so this is our thing now, as opposed to it being
well, and I mean, you could say that, but also, like, I mean, Galileo was burned at the stake as a witch because he said that the earth revolved around the sun versus the sun revolving around the earth. I mean, like, men have had but women have had the mass extinction, and I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is the elevation of one above the other just creates imbalance, and it's actually a really bad thing, because you miss out on a lot when you're saying, because this has masculine energy, or this to me is masculine, I'm going to avoid it because masculine is not good, for exactly what you're saying. Like, that negatively impacts your craft, because whether you like masculine things or not, the natural balance of things, like, you have to have the balance, like you said, for life, literally. You know what I mean? Like, okay, the masculine elements are fire and air. Can you do candle magic without fire?
Or even light an incense.
You can't have incense without air or fire, because incense represents air, right? But usually people light it
Exactly.
to use it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to light incense to use it as your air element. I mean, I've done it before, but like the point is like they're not bad just because they have the connotation of masculine, and it's something we see in the craft again and again where the masculine is excluded, and it's really important that it's not excluded because of balance on all levels. Like, I mean, think about it. Do you like your wand?
I love my wand. It's my favorite tool. And it is a masculine thing. It's
It
a
is.
phallic shaped thing.
It
I say
is.
every time we talk about wands,
Yeah.
but it is.
I mean, an athame, also a masculine tool.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sun, masculine energy.
Mhm.
Summer, masculine energy.
Mhm.
South, masculine energy. These
Yule,
masculine energy. The gods are important.
They are important. And again, I think people focus more on working with the goddess lately as opposed to God. But as I say that, you know why I think that is?
Oh,
I think it's
absolutely.
because the masculine energy has been just so shoved down
Oh,
people's throats
absolutely.
with other religions I
Right.
can name that start with a
Absolutely.
C.
Oh,
So people
absolutely.
feel like they want to get away from that and
Oh,
focus more on
absolutely.
the feminine.
Right, but that doesn't make it
that
good
doesn't
for
make it
them.
okay.
That doesn't make it good for your craft
Yes,
or the energy.
exactly.
You know.
So when instead of like wanting to not rebel, because I don't think it's rebelling, but I feel like
Well,
when
right.
people hear
No, it's that reaction.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yes.
Like I am with you 100%.
Because
I don't
for
disagree.
centuries,
Still doesn't make it good for us.
No, absolutely not. But like for centuries, we have only not we, but like many people, not just pop culture, but society has focused on the masculine, which comes with God.
Well, the masculine being good and the feminine being bad.
Exactly.
Because that's why there were mass burnings of witches, and then you can pick out certain men who were executed.
Right.
And maybe there is
and
a
they
large.
were probably feminine men too. Like, let's be
Well,
real.
I don't think so. I mean, Galileo. It's because of
his
knowing
name was Galileo. I'm pretty sure he was.
That was his last name.
Oh, I'm pretty. Like, I think we can guess that he's feminine.
You know, he was a scientist, and he had information that scared them, just like women and our abilities scare them, and that's why.
Yes.
I mean, but Galileo was burned at the stake because he figured something very important out. Mm-hmm. And it was the exact opposite of what the status quo or they want you to believe. Mm-hmm. And they burned him at the stake as a heretic, just like Joan of Arc was burned at the stake as a heretic, right? And maybe there were mass executions of men in that regard. I don't know though. I never thought about looking at it. If there
was nothing like compared to what happened.
But I mean, you could call war mass executions of men because, like, generally speaking, in olden days, like when we're talking about,
well, they did that to themselves.
I mean, no, their kings did that to them.
Who is a man? A king is a man.
Well, right, but I'm saying, like, the guys dying didn't choose that. They had to fight or die. I mean, like, when you're a soldier back then, that was not a.
I know that choice. It was just a man.
Yeah. Just like it was a man who sentenced the women to, like, I mean, it was a man who didn't have to face it, but I'm saying, like, there were mass executions of men. I love that song. That is such a good song. I love that song. Oh, what movie is it? Is it in Tu Wong Fu? Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar? I don't know. I just watched somebody singing that in a movie. It wasn't Tu Wong Fu, but I feel like, was that in Tu Wong Fu? It would have been kind of perfect.
I love that song so much. I love it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's true. I mean, it's absolutely true. But it also, scientifically we figured out how to make new human beings with 2 eggs, but naturally you could only make a new human being, with the 2, right? The balance. That's why the mortar and the pestle work together. The cauldron and the spoon work together, right? And I'm not saying that about sex. I mean, because lots of things work together when it comes to sex. Literally, we're talking about the energy of these items and how they emulate nature because the balance is required in nature. And that's why the masculine energy is so important in the craft. Like, truly, if you want to see your magic flourish, if you want to see your magic work, balance is required, not just between you and your working, like we talked about in the manifestation episode.
Mhm.
Y'all good?
I'm good. I am so good. I zoned out for a minute. I do apologize. Guys, it's 10 o'clock. We're filming this super late tonight. It
Yeah.
is spring forward, so we're
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so it would be like almost 11 o'clock normally, right?
No, it would be 9 o'clock normally. Because we went an hour forward.
I don't fucking
Yeah.
Why
it
do
took
they
me
do
a
this
real
to
long-
us?
I know. One of my Katie, I think Katie asked me like what the benefits of spring forward and thought. Other than school children, because this is the only argument that makes sense to me ever, was that school children would be standing at the bus stop in the dark during
the winter time.
Is it the winter? See,
Yeah.
I can't remember which one it would be,
Yeah.
but they'd be standing in the bus stop at the dark or in the dark without the daylight savings time thing happening. And I was like, that makes sense. Every other fucking thing I've heard, I'm like, well, that's stupid.
So how do you incorporate the masculine energy into your craft, Amber?
Well, I'm inherently more masculine, yeah. So I incorporate the feminine for a balance. And I accepted the feminine. I was in my 20s at some point, and I accepted the feminine, and so I am in full. Like, I'm not always in full balance, but as far as utilizing feminine and masculine, I have accepted the feminine in. So I have a full utilization. Like, I don't dismiss anything because it has masculine or feminine energy, first off. Like, there's no dismissal whatsoever just based on that, because there's no reason to dismiss based on masculine energy versus feminine energy. When I was younger, I absolutely would have dismissed something based on feminine energy. Like, absolutely 100% would have dismissed based on feminine energy. But I've found that balance because I've allowed the feminine to come in. I've allowed the feminine to do what the feminine's supposed to do. And that's allow the emotions to be more open. That's allow for the space for things that the masculine energy doesn't think about. It's not that it doesn't require, but it doesn't think about those things. Like, because the masculine energy, that's air and that's fire. That's your analytical and your passion. The grounding and the healing earth energy and the emotions of the water, allowing that to come in with the analytical and with the passionate, that is what allows for that balance, And so, like, for me, it wasn't allowing the masculine in, it was allowing the feminine in. How do you allow the masculine into your craft?
So I actually do work with the God at times. If I want, or if I am in need of strength, then I will specifically work out or pray or chant or channel that masculine energy. I do use, so when I want wisdom and psychic ability and psychic and strength and psychic, or I'm doing a spell or divination, then I work with the goddess. But there are times, not super often, not daily, you know what I mean, that I do pray and chant and work with the God. I truly do. Because to me, when I think of that masculine energy, it's all about sunlight. It's all about sunlight and air, the breeze in the sun, and it's the warmth of the fire. And when I close my eyes and imagine that, and this sounds so lame, the warmth of the fire, that energy, is literally like a man putting wood on the fire.
No, I get that. Like, it's the sky god and the earth mother.
Yes.
And
then
he
like
covers her.
Yes, and then you see Like the masculine energy to me is the breeze and the birds tweeting in the breeze in the sunlight. So specifically, when I feel like I need courage, or when I feel like I need strength, or even at some point, or sometimes inner self confidence or that self love, I end up calling on and talking to the God.
Yeah.
So I really do.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I get that. Like, I have gods that I work with, just like I have goddesses that I work with. You know.
Right. I do believe in multiple gods and goddesses, but like
Yeah.
for me, for some reason, the God is always just the God or the masculine energy. He hasn't come to me in terms of a specific face, whereas the goddess does. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do. I definitely understand because, like, you know, I didn't focus on gods as much, and it was kind of brought to my attention, like, yo, bro, and I was like, dude, I got you. You know, so I get it. And I mean, like, I have specific gods that I work with, and they are very similarly counter to the goddesses I work with. You know, like, I work with Velis, who is the god of the dead. I work with Marsana, who is the goddess of, you know, death.
Right. Like I guess
know?
like I have worked with Hecate,
Mhm.
and then I'll also work with Hades occasionally, and I love that because they besties down there. You know what I mean?
I picture Velas as Marsana's cool uncle. You know what I mean? Like they're not like this. Like no. I'm more likely to be with Marsana like that than Velas is. But he's her cool uncle. You know, like they chill and
Right.
he watches out for her and he stands at the back of the bar. And so when some skeezy motherfucker like Yarilo comes around, he can be like,
I love it. So like when Hades,
you have to watch YouTube to understand what Velas be like. I couldn't put it into words.
I know that Hecate be like so done with Hades and his dramatic ass. You know what I mean? Like I know it, and I just, but at the same time, like they work. You know what I mean? Together. She's just like, okay, well, anyway. It's like that annoying teenager, because she's older. You know, so he's like that annoying teenager, and she's just like, maybe not a teenager, but...
No, my face was like, I was wondering what Hecate's reaction, because she wasn't mentioned, like, I never brought it up in our Mint episode, but Hades had a lover named Mint. And there are different versions of the tales. One where Persephone kills her, one where Persephone kills her. But they never mention Hecate. And when you said her being over his shit, I just imagined, like, I put my hands on my face because I was imagining her being like, you little shit, you were supposed to be different.
Yeah!
Because when I read about Mint, I was like, I love Mint, but damn, she a home wrecker?
Right, like,
and actually she was with him before Persephone.
I'm pretty sure Persephone had lovers as well that included the satyrs.
Lucky bitch.
Which I could totally see that because she's the goddess of spring, and you know so they're poly. Actually, it is not a Zeus Hera situation. I hope.
Well, I mean, she or her mama killed Mint, so
let's hope that it was Demeter. I like the idea of it being Demeter. Like, hell no! You just put all this me through hell so that you could be with my fucking daughter, and now you're gonna be with this bitch? Think again. You wanted this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm still like, damn, Persephone lucky. Satyrs.
Oh God. I was actually
That's like the one place I really can go outside of
I was
Predator.
just talking with my husband about, I was like, it's fucking weird when people are attracted to centaurs. He's like, what do you mean? I said,
centaurs.
Look, it's different. It's different when a woman says they're attracted to a centaur, but when a man's like, oh yeah, that's a sexy centaur.
That's a donkey show.
That's weird.
Go to Tijuana, bitch.
Is it just me or is that like weird? Like,
That's a donkey show.
I mean, I
Tijuana.
guess it's weird if it's like
I
a
mean,
woman that likes.
Okay, the fact that
like,
donkey shows exist, I guess, makes it less weird that they.
I mean, or is that sexism in itself? Because it's weird when a guy does it, but like it's really weird all around, isn't it?
Maybe what's weird about a guy doing it is like, we have proof that dudes will fuck sheeps.
I know, like, well.
I mean, yes, women will fuck donkeys in donkey shows for money, but dudes will fuck donkeys for funny. So, no hate, guys, no hate. This episode actually was for anyone who identifies with the masculine, but when that came up, I had to make the donkey show jokes. Who could let that go? It's a donkey show. I mean, Clerks 2 should have let it go. That movie was terrible, but I had to make the donkey show joke. And if you got the Clerks 2 reference, we cool. Anyway, I mean, there's a lot to be said about the masculine energy, but I think the most important thing to be said is to not dismiss it because of your own pre-misconceptions about what it means to have masculine energy for a stone or a crystal or an individual.
I agree entirely. And like always, it's very important that we find that balance in our life. But I do want to say that the path and the craft is unique to the person. So whatever works for you, works for you. But again, we should try and find that balance.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I will never tell you how to practice, but just from an energetic perspective is what I'm talking about when I say that the balance is necessary, because it is. If you look in nature, it's absolutely necessary.
Well,
when you look in creation stories, it's necessary.
It really is.
What were you?
Okay, so if you're watching on YouTube, let us know in the comments, how do you include the masculine in your craft? Do you work with the god? Do you work with a god? If so, which one is it? I'm very curious. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe. Guys, we are so close to 500 subscribers. I think we're close to. Yeah. We're not there yet.
Not last time I checked.
Yes, we are so close. So help us reach our goal by liking and subscribing. You can also find us on Threads, Facebook, and Instagram at Witches Talking Tarot.
And you can find us on the X at Classiest Witches, because we are the classiest witches you know. So thanks for coming to sit with us for a spell. Bye.